Yes, welcome back to the Sports Show. Of course, if you're on the drive to Melbourne, mate, you go past Kai Kai.
Yes.
And I'm in the car regularly with my friends
Kai
and they
Kai.
go, is there anything in Kai Kai?
No.
So, mate, this is where Marty Mattner comes from.
Do you know Kai Kai? I never knew how to pronounce it.
Kai Kai.
When you go through it all the time, is that Kiki or is that Kai Kai?
So you don't know. 222 AFL
no
games. He
idea.
coached Sturt for 2 years to a premiership from 8th position when he took over to first the next year, 2 in a row. Now he's back at Sturt. We talk about Marty Mattner. Marty, appreciate you coming in, mate.
Oh, thanks for having me on.
Mate, just quickly though, Kai Kai, mate, you'd have to be the most famous person out of Kai Kai.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, mate.
No, there's not much else going on in town.
What's the population there? What was it?
I think it's about 10 or 12 at the moment.
Yeah.
So
What, thousand?
bustling. No, people. Yeah, it's bustling at the moment.
Wow.
Yeah, so...
Traffic lights? No traffic lights.
No, 3 streets, that's it. There's
Okay.
3 roads,
Okay.
that's about it.
Hey, mate, it is. I know we want to get to you in your coaching at Sturt, mate, but when you think about it, you say 10 or 12 people, and you have a 222 AFL game career out of a city that probably when you were there wouldn't have been much more than 40, would it?
Oh, no, I think the max has been about 15, 20
So
people.
how does that journey happen for you, out of there into the AFL?
Oh, just sort of like my family. So I grew up playing footy at Peak and all my cousins played footy there and netball, and it was sort of that country, you know, you go to school, you're with your mates, you go and play local footy on Saturday, and that was sort of the social event. You'd start at the footy club. I remember as a kid, you know, kicking the footy oval till 10 o'clock at night, and then with all your cousins and all your mates, and then you just sort of progress through the ranks, and then I always sort of loved footy and dreamt about playing AFL, and then sort of naturally progressed and was always a good footballer. And then sort of moved on to Murray
But it's
Bridge.
not around the corner, mate. Kai Kai's not around the corner.
No. So like we used to travel Murrayville to play. So we're in that Mallee League. So,
okay. Yeah.
So it was an hour and a half drive just to play a game of footy.
I was going to ask you where you played.
Yeah, so played Lameroo, Penaroo, Karoonda.
Oh, yeah.
So Peak was still 15, 20 minute drive just to go to training, and then we'd travel to Murrayville, Lameroo. That's sort of an hour and a half. And
have we got a little bit wrong now? You know how when you were at school, mate, you'd play footy, you'd play cricket, you'd play soccer, and as you touched on, you play with your mates till 10 o'clock at night. But now kids are getting pigeonholed so quickly that you've got to train footy 4 nights a week, or you've got to be in cricket or basketball, whatever the sport is.
Yeah.
Are we losing a little bit of that? Because you're coaching now, so sometimes those cross skills, kids that have played basketball and footy, it helps them with their footy. Or kids that have played footy and basketball, helps them with their. Are we losing a bit in that, you reckon?
I reckon it's just getting earlier and earlier when they sort of funnel into their sport.
Yeah.
So my lad's 8 and he does soccer, cricket, he's done tennis, he's done golf, he does footy. So we try and our family, we try and give our kids the opportunity to do whatever they want to do. But I see now it's starting to get earlier and earlier. So, we got some kids in our under-18 squad with David Odie, and some of them do rowing, but then there's also now they're at that end where they have to decide between rowing and cricket and that. So it's just probably happening earlier than probably it did in the old days, where you could play footy and then cricket in the summer.
Let's stay on Kai Kai.
Kai Kai.
Let's stay on Kai Kai. How often do you go back? You must have people there.
Yeah, so my family, my parents have retired to Murray Bridge, but my sister still lives on the farm, so we've still got a family farm.
Get back,
we actually, now that the boys, my youngest are 8 and 4, so they're a bit older now, so we go back and we try to get, once the school holidays, we try and get back to the farm and do some work. And my lad's actually, Dad did with us, he gave us a cow when we were kids, and so my son's, that happened this year, so he's quite excited about that, and he goes down and looks after it, and we have to do some work and do all those sorts of things. So
cow.
So
My dad gave me a stubby.
I reckon there's more chance for your kids than Matty.
No, my boys love it. Like we go to the motorbikes and we get on the truck and the tractor and stuff, and it's something I loved as a kid, like the farming life. So it's good for me to be able to expose my kids to that as well. So
exactly.
Hey, last question, mate. We'll get to Sturt. Could you see yourself going back to the farm? Do you think there's a time when you go, I'm going back?
Maybe in sort of
20 years
retirement.
time.
A bit older than that. I think. So, I don't think I could do it as a job.
Yeah.
I don't think. I think it's a pretty hard thing. They're always worried about the rain, the weather, and all those sorts of things. And but I do love the lifestyle. I like my kids to be able to expose to that. Go home and camp and ride motorbikes and all that sort of things.
Well, hey mate, we talked about it at the start. Sturt the first 2 years for you. Just had Marty Mattner get a premiership. So then a couple of years away, obviously with the Crows, mate, doing some work there. Now back this year. Has it changed much in that period that you're away, coming back to Sturt? Just even though it's a couple of years.
Yeah, definitely. The age group, I guess, of the we've had a lot of players retire. So I think from the 17 and 16 grand finals, I think there's only about 9 players left, which is only 3 or 4 years ago. So, we've had a lot of turnover of players in the last few years. But the pleasing thing is the kids coming through are looking really good. So, on the weekend, at one stage, our midfield, after Pat Wilson got injured and James Battersby on the bench, our midfield was a 19, a 20 and a 21-year-old. So, that's the exposure that these kids are getting. And, there's, Casey Voss was really good on the weekend for us. Yep. So he's 19, 20. He's looking really good with his footy. He's played sort of 20, 30 games now, so he's starting to become more comfortable. But, we just need to expose these younger kids to games of footy, and we have this year, and we're really pleased with how they're going.
First win on the weekend against Westies. You're a little bit off on the scoreboard, 12-21. It was a bit whatever, but it came at a cost. You just mentioned his name there, Patrick Wilson, who's a good player. You don't want to lose your good players, but is he long term? This is a shoulder issue. Is he? Yeah,
it's a shoulder issue. So he popped it out 4 weeks ago and got back and got the all clear from the surgeon, and he'll see the surgeon this week and we'll make a decision, but it's probably moving more towards surgery and probably missing the rest of the year, which is disappointing.
Just very disappointing. Good player.
Yeah, very good player. I think he had 13 possessions and kicked the goal in just over a quarter. So, he was looking forward to being a very dominant player on the ground.
And the other bloke I want to talk about very quickly is a guy who just keeps on keeping on, is Zane Kirkwood. He's just been a great player for Sturt, hasn't he? And I see he got in the best players, high in the best players again, second or third.
Yeah, he kicked 2 goals, playing probably more forward this year, but still very dangerous up there, and you've got to have a good player to play on him. We're excited about him and the experience he brings to the group. As I said before, with our young midfield group, he's been very valuable pre-season, imparting some knowledge on these guys. So we're really excited to have him at the club and really excited to keep him playing for as long as we can because of what he can bring to the group.
Hey, mate, I hear Blighty talk regularly, and he always talks about 7 games into the season, you start to get an idea of who's going to be really good, where you're kind of placed in it, and how the mix is. You're only 3 games in. Panthers this weekend, which is a
big one.
They're sitting on top of the ladder. Do you reckon 7 games is about right to start to see where you think you're going to be?
Yeah, I reckon sort of 5 to 7. I think we played really well on the weekend. South will be a really tough challenge down there on the home ground. They are top. They've played some pretty good footy so far. Again, they're a more experienced team, I guess. We are slowly building. We're getting better each week. So it'll be a good game. But I reckon that 5 to 7, you start to sort of see where everyone sort of fits into things.
I mean, I'm listening to you talking, and I sense the excitement in your voice about the young kids, the enthusiasm, and we know as we get older that up and down comes with youth, mate. They're good, they're bad. It can happen in a game, can happen in a quarter. Have you found yourself at times a little frustrated, even though you go, geez, this exciting group, but oh God, do I head in?
No.
None of that yet?
No, definitely.
7 games in,
No, definitely. Round 1 and round 2. So, we had probably, 5 or 6 young kids play really well round 1, and then round 2 was the total of, we had another 5. So, it was just, we haven't quite got that consistency in their games. But, I'm really excited. Our whole club, philosophy was to play kids. I think at the moment we've got, it's somewhere around 30 players under 22 on the list of our list of 55, 56. So, we talked about, I guess last year we lost some experience, but now we need to give experience to these kids. And we're really excited, I guess, where the list is at the moment.
Mate, how difficult for you coming out of the AFL program, and you played in it, and then you've coached it to come back to the SANFL, because you've gone from fully professional. For these guys, it's their second job. How tough do you reckon it's finding the balance for you as a coach when you first come back to it?
I guess I'd been exposed to it prior, so it was quite easy for me. I felt like I had a really good structure back in 16, 17, 18 when I was there. So in terms of myself, it wasn't really much of a change. Just went back to, I guess,
what you knew,
that philosophy and what I knew. There's definitely some things that I've changed. But I think it's more just about our group, work comes first. We talk to a lot of guys about, work's important. If you don't have a job or you're not studying or something, you don't really have that money to buy, your boots and get to training and those sorts of things. So we talk about the playing group about job's important, family, all those things. Off field's really more important than footy. Right. And if you're happy off field and you got a good job, then you're normally going to perform better on field. So our group, because we only see them 9 hours a week. So 10 hours a week. So we see them for a very little period. But that, for me, that's great. I can plan my 9 hours to be really good and really efficient with the group. Again, we've got some really good coaches as well in our group. So it's just making most of your time when you have the players.
Mate, the slow build, because it is a slow build for you now. There's an expectation, that Sturt are always in the finals. Sturt are a traditional great club. When you talk about Sturt, you always think, well, that's Port Adelaide, and there's Sturt, and there's Glenelg. Do they understand? It's easy for you to say as a club, we understand we're improving, but the fans and the expectation doesn't always weigh up the same way.
No, and that's probably the hard thing I'm going to feel for this year. Like, we've got a very young playing group. We are going to have our little ups and downs in games, weeks by that. But I want to play finals and I want to win premierships as well, but also realistic that, we've got a very young group and that might not happen this year, but hopefully it happens in the future. And then and the other thing we're trying to build is consistency. We want to play finals every year. We don't want to play 1 year and then drop out. We want to be consistently good all year and every year. So, that's the thing we're trying to build in the group.
Right. Marty, kick a bit straighter, mate, this weekend. You kick a bit straighter.
It was 3 blokes. That was all right. So they might miss out this week.
What they kick?
The 3 blokes kicked 2 goal 12. So,
oh my God.
So
So they know about it?
Yeah, they know about it.
Okay.
I told them. I let them know. So that's all right.
But you reckon that's the first in footy, do you, mate?
Well, I just think that to beat South at Noarlunga, you're going to have to be on your game. They're a pretty good team at the moment. They're sitting top. This will be a great test for you, I reckon. Great test.
Great challenge.
Well, you're down there a fair bit if you kick 2-12, so it's not all doom and gloom.
Yeah, well, 12-21's not going to get it done, I don't think.
All right, you and I will argue about it later.
Yeah, all right, we'll have a crack.
Hey, Marty Mattner was our special guest. You need to get involved with the Sturt Footy Club. They are young, they're up and coming, they've got a great coach. Good time to get involved with the Sturt Footy Club. Stay with us, still plenty to come.